the official announcement of Chaos Origin, I suppose, in the TCG, they've posted on their website the announcement for Chaos Origin releasing on the 2nd of July in 2026, which means that it's out for the European Championship as well as the NAWCQ, which they both have, and they have announced the dates for both of those tournaments to be 1 week after this, right? If I remember correctly, it was the second weekend of July for both of those. They are on the same weekend, which is a little bit of a shame because I would have loved to watch the NAWCQ, but of course I will be playing in the EUWCQ. But they are happening on the same weekend, which is the 10th to 12th of July is the date for both of those tournaments, which means that Chaos Origin, which at the moment seems like a pretty solid set, honestly. There seems to be some pretty strong stuff in there, but I guess there's still stuff left to be revealed, so we'll have to wait and see for that. But it's going to be legal for both of those tournaments, which is always exciting. When I like it when they release stuff shortly before a tournament. I know it's like hard for people to get their hands on the cards. That is one downside of it. But at the same time, I like it when there's a big format shift before a tournament. I think that's exciting. I don't like when like the format changes immediately after a tournament, because then you look at like the results from the tournament and you're like, well, this doesn't really matter anymore, right? Like it's the same thing when like a tournament happens and the ban list goes in effect after the tournament. Like if there's a ban list, I want it to be in effect immediately for the important tournament. But yeah, NAWCQ being the same weekend of Euros is so good. Unsolved is best. I like that aspect of it too. I like the aspect of both regions are going to go into the tournament like at the same time pretty much, and it's not going to be like one of them happens first and then the other people are just going to like play what won the other tournament, right? I think that's interesting. The only reason why I don't like it is content brain. Like I would have liked to stream the NAWCQ, and I can't do that if they're both happening at the same time. But it's a very small thing. Like it's fine, I guess. It's no problem. Anyways, among some of the things that we've already seen from Chaos Origin, like we've seen the Blackluster Dark Magician of Chaos archetype, the retrain of some of the Yugi monsters, the Sacred Beast retrains. We've reacted to all of these. I still love the way the creator looks, by the way. I'm a big fan of that card. There's and Blitzclick, of course. There is an announcement in here that I believe was new. At least I'm seeing it for the first time. But I guess correct me if I'm wrong, if this was announced somewhere else and I'm looking incredibly stupid right now. But I think they announced this here for the first time. It's time to en passant. In a booster set dedicated to the King of Games, we just had to have a theme dedicated to one of the world's oldest games, chess. So this is the new TCG exclusive archetype, right? Because it's not been announced by the OCG, it's been announced by the TCG. So we have a chess-themed archetype. That big floating chessboard in the sky is the centerpiece of a new world premiere theme that will make your head spin. Like chess itself, this will be a lot to wrap your head around at first, so we're going to avoid using full card names and use some simple piece names instead. Okay, now I'm scared. Now I'm scared of what the cards are going to do. Google en passant. I know what it is. I know it's like it's the move where you walk past a pawn, right? And you still capture it. Yeah. It's like when you do two forward with the pawn and you capture a pawn that's sideways that you could have captured, but instead of going onto its square, you move two forward. Something like that. It's been a while since I've actively played some chess. But I think that was how you do it, right? Anyways. I do like the aesthetic of these cards, I think. The only thing, they do look relatively similar to each other, but I guess you can tell what it's supposed to be, right? This is the rook. Yeah, this looks like a bishop. This looks like the knight. This is, I guess, king or queen then? Okay, wait. Let's do some simple math, okay? How many monsters do they have to dedicate to this archetype, right? The king, queen, bishop, knight, rook, pawn. 6, right? We need 6 monsters at least. Which means which means the first wave is 7 cards, right? So we probably get, educated guess, we get the chessboard, which is probably, look, if the chessboard is not a field spell, then I'm not playing this deck. I'll say it right now. If the chessboard is not a field spell, anyways, the chess theme is one of those rare themes that has no main deck monster. Okay. Well, great educated guess, Josh. Phenomenal educated guess. You nailed it. Okay. Instead, it has spells, traps, and synchro monsters. Okay. Okay. You know what? That's intriguing. I find this very intriguing because I'm very interested in how that's gonna work. Like, that is a cool idea if done properly. Because how is a deck gonna work that has no main deck monsters and just synchros? Is it like, are you supposed to play other monsters to make the synchros? Or is it gonna have like ways to cheat out the synchros, quote unquote? Like this has the potential to use in a to work in a very unique way. Like Runix? Maybe. The big question that I have, and I feel like it would be a big missed opportunity, is like, why there's the synchro monsters being the white pieces makes a lot of sense, right? But like, where are we making black pieces as well? And if so, are they like in the same archetype, or should it be another archetype that's its own deck? Anyways, yeah, maybe it's in there. It also works heavily with placing its monster cards into the spell trap zones. There are currently 4 chess monsters: the king, the rook, the knight, all with plenty of attack points, and the pawn, level 2 and also a tuner. All are synchro monsters. Here's how it works. The chessboard field spell, Pog Champion, lets you summon a level 2 chess piece, which is a pawn, directly from your extra deck each turn and place a chess man from the extra deck in your spell trap zone. Okay, chess man is any of them? Except for the pawn. Chess man have effects that activate when they are placed in the spell and trap zone. The knight adds a chess spell card from your deck to your hand. The king adds a trap from your deck or grave to your hand. And the rook sort of castles. Oh, that's cool. It castles to place the king from the extra deck in your spell trap zone. Okay. While they're sitting in your spell trap zone, these pieces have extra abilities. The knight does 500 damage to your opponent each time they activate a card or effect. Ooh, Masquerade is back. The king limits your opponent to just 5 monster effects. Ah! Okay. Is that a floodgate? That is a floodgate. How bad is 5 monster effects per turn? How bad of a floodgate is that? I guess it depends on the deck you're playing. Some decks are okay with that. I mean, 5 effects is a lot. Is a lot technically. It's not that bad. Yeah. It depends on the format, right? Like this has the potential to really counter certain decks in the format. Like it's a fact that like some decks just need more effects to get something done than others, right? Like for example, I don't know, Draco Tail. It's like, okay, well, I'll activate a fusion spell. I'll send Urgula from deck to grave, and there goes your king, right? No problem. But then I don't know, you're playing. What else? What deck is an example that like can't do shit against that? I mean, every deck has SP. Oh yeah. And the rook protects. Oh, and the rook protects all your chess cards from being destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Okay, well, I guess you're not Urgulaing it anyways. So, oh, you know, this looks like it has some potential, because what I'm seeing here, without actually seeing the full effects on the cards, but it feels like the chessboard. You summon the pawn, you place the rook gets you the king, and then the king gets you a trap. And that already seems like a setup that, I mean, that's a setup right there, and I guess where you're going somewhere else, but okay. While they're monsters, each chess man can banish another card from the field, generally an opponent's monster. And if the pawn uses this ability, it gets promoted by crossing over to your opponent's field, returning to your extra deck, and special summoning any chess piece from your extra deck. That's one way to special summon your non-pawn chessman. Dude, the flavor... I haven't been like a super active chess player, but I know how to play chess, and this has a lot of flavor to it, right? The fact that there's castling in here, there's pawns promoting. That's fun. That's a fun thing. Dude, there's so much potential with Yu-Gi-Oh cards, man. Okay. If a chessman monster card you control is destroyed, even if it's in the spell trap zone, the chessboard field spell lets you return any chessman in your spell trap zone to the extra deck and then immediately special summon it. That's a second way to special summon your non-pawn chessman. Chess pieces have no special summoning restrictions, so you can also synchro summon them like any other synchro monster. So you can play other engines to make synchros, okay? Got all that? Don't worry, the club meets after school if you need a refresher course. One other thing, just like how chess has special opening moves, so do the chessmen. This special trap card lets you place a chessboard field spell from your hand, deck, or grave to the field to get you started, and special a level 2 or 7 on or knight to the extra monster zone, and place a chessman from your extra deck in your spell trap zone. And if your opponent goes first, you can activate this trap from your hand during their standby phase. So that's the biggest thing at the end. That's an interesting way to design a hand trap, because this does make the trap so much better, of course, because it's now not as slow anymore. However, you have to activate it during their standby phase, right? Which is a difference. I think that is a very good restriction, quote unquote, because it doesn't let you do it whenever you want. It's something that your opponent is going to start their turn with the knowledge that you have that card, right? It's going to create a game where, like, okay, well, now I know what deck you're playing, I know what the situation is, and so on and so forth. This is getting ashed, Unk. This cannot get ashed, and I'll ignore the fact that you called me Unk for no reason. But it places a chessboard field spell. It summons from extra deck. And it places, so it does not. It cannot get ashed. So take that. Okay, this card looks different. Another cool world premiere. Oh, this is not part of the archetype. That's why it looks different. Okay, another cool world premiere card is the new level 8 tuner monster. It's not a chessman, but it works perfectly with the strategy. You can special summon this monster from your hand if there's a synchro monster on your field or grave. When summoned, you can place up to 3 different synchros from your extra deck and or grave into your spell trap zone. You also get a bonus token. Is that okay? We're gonna have to wait. We're gonna have to wait for the exact effect of this card. But am I crazy for thinking that this just sounds like a really busted generic card? You have a synchro on field or grave somehow, so it's not a starter on its own. You need something in the grave already. But then you can place 3 synchros from the extra deck or grave in the spell trap zone, which of course has synergy with the chess theme, but just in general, like Herald of the Arclight is banned, but cards like Enigmaster Packbid, cards like what's the other one called? The one that bounces, Malong. You just place those for free. You summon a level 8 tuner, you get a token, and then you can send those to the graveyard for something like Snake Eyes Doomed Dragon, and then you get triple removal. Like Malong bounce, Doomed Dragon push something into the spell trap zone, and Packbit puts something into the spell trap zone. However, the reason why this is not like guaranteed to be broken and we have to wait for the effect is maybe it locks you into synchros. And if it locks you into synchros, then you can't make the Doomed Dragon with it. And then the question is like, okay, even if you can put those cards in the spell trap zone, how do you get them out of the spell trap zone and get their graveyard effects? Because, you know, so it depends. It really depends on the exact text on this card, right? But that sounds like it has a lot of potential. Okay. While it works with any synchro monster, this tuner goes especially well with chessmen. As an extra special bonus, this monster is available in Chaos Origin as an extended art card. Oh, okay. This is cool. because it confirms a couple of things that I'm not sure if we knew these beforehand. It confirms that the TCG is getting the full art cards in core sets as well. I think this is the first time they've said this, because, I mean, of course, everyone assumed that that was going to be the case, because they are also in core sets in the OCG now, so everyone was like, yeah, surely the TCG is going to get it as well. But I think this is the first time it's officially been confirmed that the TCG is getting the extended arts in core booster sets, which is good. But it also confirms that we're going to get TCG exclusive overframes, because this is a world premiere card that is not in the OCG at first. And we are getting basically a TCG exclusive overframe, which is cool. This is bigger news than I thought. And I'm not going to lie, this is the type of archetype where it's impossible to say right now whether it's good or not. But I know one thing for sure. In my mind, there's so much flavor to this that it doesn't necessarily have to be a top tier strategy for me to like it. Like, even if this ends up being not that great, it sounds so flavorful and so fun that I wouldn't even mind. Because I think sometimes it's okay to make a deck that's just awesome and not tier 0, right? Like, I'm thinking my last example of this one was Mimighoul, where I was like, okay, you know what? Mimighoul, even if it never sees hyper competitive play, was an awesome archetype, and I enjoyed looking at the cards and figuring out how the deck was supposed to be played. Like, that was cool. Not every TCG exclusive archetype needs to be like or shouldn't be like a Mitsurugi, right? So I will definitely take a look at those effects once they come out. I mean, you can already have like a good idea of what this deck is trying to do. Yeah, okay, that's cool. The boss monster is Magnus Carlsen. Imagine they make a Magnus Carlsen, dude. That'd be crazy.